Hello, my name is Phil Maruta, and I'll be talking about Hofstede's cultural dimensions for the United Arab Emirates. Hofstede's culture, the first dimension we're going to take a look at is the power distance dimension, where the United Arab Emirates scores a 90. Power distance basically expresses the attitude of a culture towards inequalities. The next dimension we'll take a look at is individualism, where the UAE scores a 25. Individualism is the degree of independence in a society. The next dimension, masculinity, where the UAE scores a 50, is how much a society is driven by the competition and achievement and success. The fourth dimension is uncertainty avoidance. Uncertainty avoidance is how society deals with the fact that the future may never be really known. And the UAE scores an 80 in this category. You will notice too that the UAE has no long-term orientation and no indulgence. The UAE scores a 90 on the power distance. This shows that they have a high power distance, meaning that decisions are made only at the top and decisions are passed down through a hierarchical system. That's a tricky word. So that means if you're going to be an American manager coming to the UAE, you would have to expect the decision-making process to be a bit slower than what you may be used to in the US. This is because if you're dealing with a supervisor, that supervisor has to check back with his manager, who has to check back with the manager to make a decision, whereas that supervisor has no freedom to make decisions on his own. Basically, it is a very centralized system with all the businesses in the UAE, so you can expect things to work a little bit slower than you're used to if you're an American manager. The final decision is only made at the top. The next dimension we'll take a look at is individualism, where the UAE scored a 25. This means they have more of a we society than an I society, so they are a collectivist society in the UAE. They are more orientated towards relationships and teams rather than individual goals and successes. So if you're an American manager trying to do business in the UAE, you will focus more on the relationships that you can build rather than the tasks of those that you would like the business to actually achieve. You'll notice that in the UAE, you wouldn't have overtime just because this is considered as being more task-orientated than relationships. If you're scheduled to work from a certain time to a certain time, it gives you more time to go home and spend time with your family. Many businesses are also closed during the weekends in the United Arab Emirates because weekends are also seen as a time for families to bond and friends to hang out and that sort. So, a suggestion as someone who is about to go do business in the United Arab Emirates is you might want to take your colleagues out for lunch or dinner, or take them out for a day of golf or any kind of sporting activity to build team chemistry. Next dimension we've got is masculinity. Here the UAE scores a 50. This can be considered neither masculine nor feminine, meaning the UAE encourages fair competition, and competition is pretty aggressive on all levels of business, whether it's going to be minimum employment, top management, or even at the top of the board. The next dimension we've got is the uncertainty avoidance. Here, the UAE scores an 80 on uncertainty avoidance. This means that the UAE is highly driven by rules, and they don't take too kindly to taking risks. As an American manager, you may be used to welcoming new ideas and new ways of doing things, maybe even if they are for the benefit of the company. Whereas in the UAE, they prefer doing things the way they've always been done, because that way there is less chance of anything going wrong. So if you're a United States manager and you want to present a new idea, you may want to make sure your idea has a lot of contingencies and that you address all of the uncertainties of the higher management here in the UAE. So in all, the UAE is a very, very diverse culture, and they welcome a lot of foreign businesses, but they would prefer the uncertainty and the risks from the businesses to be easily quoted. Thank you.